Hey smart people, come on to my YouTube channel, Stenell the Money Therapist. Every episode that you hear, my podcast, right here, you will see me in the flesh talking about the same exact topic. See you there. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. I remember one evening at supervision watching the boss. She was sitting in a big office with a big window. It was beautiful. I said to myself, that's going to be me.
Six years ago, my wife took nothing but an ideal and faith and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business with multiple streams of income. As a woman possessed, she overcame all obstacles and created multiple streams of wealth that has impacted our family for generations to come. From mental health professional to therapist to author to CEO, she is a constant reminder of the grace of God over her life. Get ready to listen to and take notes from Stenell, the money therapist, as she schools you on money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. No more excuses. Wake up!
Thank you, husband, for that introduction. Welcome back to No More Excuses, Wake Up, where we talk about money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. I am your host, Stenell Myers, also known as Stenell, the money therapist. This week, we are discussing entrepreneurship, of course. Have you thought about starting your own business, your own agency? I want to talk to you about starting a government contracted agency. So I am really introducing that thought so you can really start thinking about it. When I first started my agencies, I started them together and I had no clue what I was doing or how I was doing it. I didn't even know that what I was doing back in 2015 would turn into what it is now in 2022. I just knew that I had a vision and I had a dream from God and I had to make it happen. I always worked in the field of counseling and mental health and social work and was always in the trenches in those fields. So my background has really taught me everything that I'm doing and how to actually learn and teach people and be a leader that I strive so hard to be in this particular field. When you want to start an agency, you have to really think and think outside the box because there are so many agencies that you can start and you have to know what it is in your field, what your niche is, what it is that you want to do, what are you good at, what did you go to school for. So many of you that went to school and you might be working in a hospital, you might be a counselor, you might be a therapist, whatever it is that you're doing, you can turn that and make it for your own. When I was working in all these different agencies, I had no clue how to get started. I knew about there were boards. I knew that people met and they would make decisions, but I really didn't know. And I just was so willing to learn. I was so hungry and I had to learn. I wanted to know more. And I remember Googling how to start a agency. I literally remember that. How to start an agency. And it wasn't specific. It was not specific at all. There was no social media of Instagram, Twitter. It wasn't even Facebook at that particular time because when I first thought about this was back in the early 2000s. And I was able to get the information that I needed. I remember saying you need an EIN number, you needed business entity, email address for your business, not a Yahoo, but actually a business address. I remember that vaguely. I remember sitting on the bed and writing it down. I was just so passionate. I just had passion as I worked in the field, that's when I really learned what it is that I needed to do. I taught 7 different psychologies. I worked at Camden County College. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. I worked at Drexel University, which is in Philadelphia, which is a hop, skip, and jump right over the Ben Franklin Bridge. I had the extensive background that I needed, but I still did not have my own. And I wanted my own. I wanted my own agency. I wanted something that you can walk in. I wanted something that I can have staff and I can help the community and I can be in control and not follow what other people tell me to do, because I knew my heart and I knew if I was in control of it that I was going to go out and maybe get bitten, maybe get taken advantage of, but I knew that I was going to go out and strive in whatever that was. And at the time, it was straight counseling. I wanted a counseling agency like no other. I knew what I wanted to do. Then it turned into I wanted an after school program, and I talked to you about that when I get into how I started my nonprofit after school program. That's in the next episode. When you are searching, you want to make sure that you're looking for government contracts that is in your field, that is in your niche. For me, in the state of New Jersey, the Department of Education, the Department of Children and Family Services, they were my go-tos. Every state have a Department of Children and Family Services. It may not be that particular name, but every state has that. For the sake of me giving you information, I'm not going to go through every state. I'm going to tell you about what I know in my state, and that's for you to do the due diligence for your particular state. So when I log into my state, the Department of Children and Family Services, the main thing you want to focus on is grants, RFPs, a request for proposal. And that's what you're looking for. You want to know how to become a provider. You want to know how you can give services in your community. And that's where you want to start. Also in New Jersey, it's CSOC. That's Children's System of Cares. That's a provider as well. And that's for counseling. And I also had an agency called The Better Me. And with The Better Me, it was in-home and community called IIC. It was basically getting contracts through case managers and actually children that had behaviors, hiring licensed clinicians to be therapists for them. It's just researching and trying to figure it out and talking to people in your field. And if you're working at an agency, you're like, okay, I'm looking around, I can do this, but I think I can do this better. I think I can do this with more morals, more integrity. I can do this. So it's just really trying to figure out in your particular state in order to get these grants, in order to get these proposals in your field. And researching a request for proposal is so important because there are so many grant proposals. In my particular field with a second touch, it is a support coordination agency. And it's a case management agency, but I bill like a medical doctor. I have an NPI number. I bill Medicaid. And what I do with support coordination, I have a contract with developmental disabilities, adults that is 21 and older. When they graduate from a school called Special Services, they need a continuation in their life to continue. They need stability. So we have support coordination in order to give them that lifestyle that they so deserve and they so need. They're used to going to school every day, but now they're 21. They have to get out in the community. So a lot of them go to day programs, and they'll go to a day program, or their families may say, I don't want them to go to a day program. Maybe they can work. They'll go to work. Whatever it is that they want to do, my agency assists and help them do that because they are with the Division of Developmental Disabilities. They have Medicaid. They now have a budget. What they do is they assess that budget depending on their level of need. And their level of need have everything to do with how much of a budget that they have. What my support coordinators do is they help them with the budget. They have to have enough money in their budget in order to do certain things. If they want to go horseback riding, if they want music lessons, go to the gym, go to a day program, have in-home supports. I will break down everything that I do because that's one part. I have a support coordination agencies, but I have 5 different services that I do as well. So those 5 services, 5 different ways to get paid. So when you are becoming a Medicaid provider in this particular episode that I'm talking to you about, because I am a Medicaid provider, I am a healthcare provider because one, I have the MPI number, and two, I have a contract with the divisions of developmental disabilities. The importance is to make sure to see what it is that you want to do. If your niche is not healthcare, if your niche is counseling, if your niche is social work, if your niche is transportation, if your niche is bus driving, whatever it is, there is a grant proposal, there is something out there for you. But this particular is not a grant proposal, this is to become a provider. So a Second Touch is a for-profit agency, it's not a non-profit agency like my after school program. When you are starting a government contract agency, it is really researching and reading and seeing if that is for you, seeing if this is the business that you want to be in, because it comes with a lot: hiring staff, hiring an accountant, hiring a payroll service, finding a location, trusting people, having the correct insurance that you need, the liability insurance, general liability insurance, and really being a reputable business with morals, and building bank relationships, building relationships. And it is a lot. It's not just something that you say, okay, I want to start a business. No, it is a huge liability. It is a huge risk when you starting any type of business. But when you're getting contracts now, you barking up a whole tree because you have to abide by what those contracts are. And if you don't abide by what they are, you can be cut from those contracts. And that's what's so important. A lot of people minds is so on social media, it drives me crazy because it's so on how to be an influencer. An influencer is not for everybody. Everybody is not made to be an influencer. Everybody cannot be an influencer. So what is it that you're going to have? What is your meat? What is your potatoes? What is your stability for yourself and for your family? Going out here trying to do what everybody else is doing, dig into your heart and your soul and do what it is that God created you to do. Figure it out. The way I figure it out is what I love. And what I love is helping people. And I love helping people in any field. And I never thought that disabilities was my field. I never went to school for it. It was just something that God graced me with. I was just good at it. And when I started being an in-home therapist, I had no background of disabilities. Shout out to Lillian. She really gave me a chance. Crazy, because one of my first significant cases to being an in-home therapist, and at the time this young man was 16, he's now 22, and I have him as on in my agency. But before that, I was his therapist, and I taught him 81 words, how to talk through a talking device. I never had no training or anything like that. I just had a passion to help him because he was angry and his parents didn't know how to communicate with him. And once I just watched him and I studied him and I just studied him. I watched him in the home, I watched him in the school, and I just watched him, and I was able to understand him, and I was able to understand his language. Although he could not speak, I understood the frustration. That's like anybody, if you can't speak. I'm laid up here right now with 3 toes that were broken, and I'm frustrated as hell. Imagine if I was in pain and I could not talk and I couldn't share that I was in pain and no one knew that I was in pain. Could you imagine? Couldn't imagine it. So I was able to study him, and once I was able to study him and really get a good understanding of what was going on, I was able to help him. And one of the problems was he was just frustrated and he needed to be able to communicate and understand. And his level went up from first grade, and I worked with him for a year and a half before I started my agency, before I started a Second Touch, and he went from first grade to a fourth grade level, and that was amazing in a year and a half. And it was just a blessing to be able to be a part of that, and it's a blessing to still be able to be a part of him and his family in some capacity. So you have to be able to love what you do. You have to be able to love the families and figure out what it is that you want to do. I always go back to baking cookies or cakes and being a baker. What contracts can you get? What big contracts can you get with restaurants? And, thinking really outside the box to really be able to establish yourself in any business that you are trying to start. And government contracts is deep. They're out there. They're not easy, but they are out there. So I suggest to you, get started right now. Start researching, start Googling, start YouTubing, whatever you need to do. Learn in your field and learn in your state. Start with your state. Every state has a department of something. Every state has, whatever your state is, RFPs, and you just want to Google your state. For New Jersey, it is My New Jersey. Department of Children and Family Services, if that is, your field. But I don't know what your field is. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of wisdom, a nugget, so you can go ahead and you can get started. It's just believing in yourself that you can do it. You can do it. Go ahead right now. Try to get started opening your own government agency, understanding these contracts and getting a contract. That's what's important, getting these contracts. Looking at social media and TikTok and laughing, that's not important, because it's not feeding you like these contracts are feeding you when you're out here helping people in your community, when you are being a part of the change and you're helping people. Instead of you're looking on the outside, and we judge so many times, but what about really helping people in the background, helping families? Just amazing. It is amazing. So I'd say right now, start it. Get started. Do it. You can do it. You're going to also see me talk about this on YouTube. I am now doing all my videos on YouTube. I'm going to talk about the same exact episode, starting a government contract agency, and you'll see my cute face on YouTube at Stenell the Money Therapist. No more excuses. Wake up. Thank you for listening to No More Excuses, Wake Up. If you love the show, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or Spotify. To learn more about me and my different agencies and what I do, go to StenellMyersEnterprises.com. While you're there, check out Money Therapy Institute and watch my video where you will see me doing a little acting, showing you how I fought and kicked down closed doors. You can also click on Stenell the Money Therapist and get my free budget spreadsheet. And of course, you can email me at contact@StenellTheMoneyTherapist.com. I'm also on social media, on Facebook at Stenell the Money Therapist and Instagram at Stenell the Money Therapist. No more excuses. Y'all know what y'all need to do. Wake up. Hey, smart people. I have a 3-month one-on-one personal or business coaching program. As you all know, I paid off $50,000 in debt in 1 year. I will teach you how I stayed out of debt using my burner method and personalized spreadsheet I created to fit my lifestyle and keep me on track. You will learn how to understand your money communication style using my financial treatment plan. Also, if you own a small business and you feel stuck with cash flow or feel disorganized, I teach business owners and self-employed entrepreneurs such as yourself to financially maximize your money, build wealth using your business income, and retire working on the business while your business continues to run, such as myself. You can book a call with me. The link is in the show notes.